have been a teacher in Toronto for many, many years. I was actually taught in the United States first, and then I started teaching in Toronto. So, and I've been working with online tutoring for a couple of years now. I really like it. I have students in Canada and in China. I'm going to share the novel, The One and Only Ivan. That's the cover. Read each statement and say whether you agree or disagree with the statement. First statement, zoos are good because we get to see how animals act. Number 2, animals have feelings and emotions that are as important as humans. So do you agree with that or disagree? Okay, number 3, different species. That means like different kinds of animals, like a dog and a cat and a lion, right? Different species can interact, right? So they can like mix with each other and understand one another. Okay, and the last one, it's important to follow through with what you say you will do. Okay, so as you might have guessed, these are big themes or ideas in the book that we're going to read. So at the end of the book, the idea is to say, did it change at all for you? Do you change your opinion because you read the novel? Okay, so keep these kind of ideas in mind while you're reading. Okay, and I'm going to ask people to read, okay? So how about we have David, why don't you read hello for us?
I am Ivan. I am a gorilla. It's not as easy as it looks.
Okay, great. So it's not as easy as it looks to be a gorilla. So this guy, he's just like a kid, right? You know, people think kids, it's so easy to be a kid. Adults think it's so easy to be a kid, but sometimes adults, I think, they forget what it's like to be a kid, right? And it's not as easy as it looks. And that's how Ivan feels sometimes, right? Okay, Summer, would you like to read this one?
People call me the freeway gorilla. The ape had X. Which way is more fun?
Okay, so we know his name is Ivan. He just said, hello, my name is Ivan. But he's got a whole bunch of nicknames, right? So he's Ivan. He's the freeway gorilla. What's a freeway? We don't really say that word too much in Canada. It's more an American word. When you say the freeway, what do you mean? What
Is
are you
it
talking?
highway?
Something about
a highway. Yeah, it's a highway. Okay, and he's the ape at exit 8 because you know how on a highway, when you want to get off the highway, you go to the exit, and sometimes they have names, but a lot of times they have numbers. So he's at exit 8. Okay, and then the one and only Ivan, which of course I guess is probably the best name, and Mighty Silverback. So what's a silverback? Anybody know anything about gorillas?
They usually have silverbacks.
That's right. Their fur on their back has turned silver. Like how, you know, a person's hair turns silver as they get older, so does a gorilla's hair. So a silverback is a male gorilla, the oldest male gorilla in the group of gorillas, because gorillas live in groups called troops, like they're an army, a troop of gorillas. So the oldest male, like say like the grandfather gorilla kind of thing, he's the leader of, of the leader of the troop. So they call him the silverback. And of course he's mighty because he's strong and he's the leader. So that's what they call Ivan sometimes, right? But he says, does Ivan think of himself as the freeway gorilla or the one and only Ivan or mighty silverback? Melinda, how does he think of himself?
He is just one person named Ivan.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, he says, I'm just Ivan, right? Only Ivan. I'm not special, right? So he says, you probably think, you people, that gorillas can't understand people. And you probably think that we can't walk upright. You know how people walk on their two feet, right? We don't use our hands to walk unless we're disabled in some way. Have you ever seen a gorilla walk? How do they walk?
On their knuckles.
Go
They
ahead.
can walk on all fours or on their legs. I've seen a gorilla walk on his legs.
They can walk on their hind legs, you're right, but they like to bend over a little bit and put sort of one hand on the ground, and the hand kind of helps them like a cane or something to walk. So, and he says, yeah, it's more fun to walk like that. That's why we walk like that, just because it's more fun. We can walk upright, but we don't want to. Okay, who would like to read Patience?
Patience. I've learned to understand human words over the years, but understanding.
Okay, very well read. Thank you. Yes, so who does he think is more patient? Gorillas or apes?
Gorillas.
Gorillas. Yeah, he says humans are not patient. And what else does he think about humans? What else does he say we do too much of? Yeah, we're always like, yap, 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 right? We chatter like chimpanzees, right?
He's wrong. But I do talk too much.
When you go to the zoo and you go to the monkey section, you can hear those monkeys. They're making all that noise. Well, he says we sound the same way, right? So over the years, Ivan says he's learned to understand
English.
Yeah, he understands English, so he can figure out what we are saying. I need another reader, so just put up your hand if you would like to be a reader.
How I look. I used to be a wild gorilla, but when all I'm thinking is how the late day sun reminds me of a ripe nectarine. What's
Nectarine.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like a peach.
Oh.
A nectarine is exactly like a peach, except you know how peaches are all fuzzy?
Yes.
Nectarines are smooth.
Oh.
I'm mightier than any human.
One more line.
Oh, chimps. There's no excuse for them.
Okay, so who does he not want to be related to, but he is?
Us.
Not us. Who is it?
Chimps.
Chimps. He doesn't want to be related to. Remember slimy chimps. He does not like chimpanzees. Okay, but he says humans and gorillas were both apes, right? Just like the chimps and the orangutans, right? But how much does Ivan weigh? Anybody pick up on that?
400 pounds.
400 pounds, yeah, of pure power, right? Like a gorilla can really if they got your head, they could probably smash it, right? They're very strong. Okay, who would like to read the first page of this, not the whole thing?
The exit a big top mall and video arcade. However, human habitat do not have any gorilla friends.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so let's just talk about this. Somebody had said, I forget who it was who commented, but they said, why is Ivan called the freeway gorilla, the highway gorilla? Well, because he lives at the Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, and it's located right off I-95, which is a highway. If you've ever been to the US, they are always calling their highways like a letter and then a number, right? So it's the I-95. So if you're taking the I-95, you get off at exit 8, and there's the mall. And it's the mall, and it's also a video arcade, right? And they have animal shows. How many times a day?
See.
3, yeah, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock every day of the year. So even like Christmas and New Year's and, Canada Day and everything, they have shows. So Ivan knows that because Mac, the boss of the mall, he says that when he answers the telephone, right? So this paragraph right here tells a lot about this mall. It's not like a regular mall where you just go and there's a bunch of stores and you can buy clothes or whatever, right? What's different about this mall? Queenie, right there, you can read that. What do they have that regular malls don't have?
I think monkey and parrots.
Yes, you are right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Monkeys and parrots live in among the stores. So there's all these stores where you can buy stuff, TVs and, you know, cell phones and clothes and shoes and stuff. But there's also like places where there's monkeys, places where there's parrots, right? And at one end is Ivan, and also Stella the elephant. She's there too. So they have all these animals, right? And it says that they have a ring in the mall. And so in this ring, like in here would be where like the animals would perform, and along here there's like benches where people can, you know, sit and watch, right? So those are the animal shows, right? And the animals do a little show, I guess, right? Can anybody tell me on this page, what does Ivan call the place where he lives?
The Exit 8 Big Top Mall.
Yes, exactly. That's where he lives. And inside the mall, all the different animals have their own space, right? So David, what does he call his own space?
Domain.
His domain. See, he says that my domain is at one end of the ring. I live here, and Stella's domain is next to mine. So a domain, if we go back into the glossary, let me just go back here to the glossary, we find out what that word domain means. You see it here? Territory. Your space, right? Like this is my, you know, maybe you have your own room and you say like, this is my domain, right? People aren't supposed to come in here unless they knock on the door, like even my parents, and you know, this is my space, right? Well, that's what he's saying, that his domain is like his space, okay? So what would you expect a gorilla where would you expect them to live?
Jungle.
Okay, but I mean, if one that's in captivity.
Zoo.
A zoo, but okay, in a zoo, where do they keep the gorillas?
Cages.
Cages, right? But he doesn't say cage. He says domain. This is my domain. So that's really important to him. How many gorillas live at the Big Top Mall?
One.
One, that's right. He says he doesn't have any gorilla friends. So unless there's an enemy gorilla living with him, there is no other gorillas.
That's why he's called the only Ivan.
The one and only Ivan. So true. Okay, who wants to read the next page?